Surprise, I'm live again. Um, and I have a little window in my day. So since drama is still continuing, I thought I would pop on here. It's almost about 1 p.m. here in Chicagoland. So, and I didn't put up any advanced. I'm going to be going live. So, I don't know if there's going to be anyone around that have any questions they want to fire my way. So, I will hang out for a little bit, see if people come on, and you've got something you'd like to ask me. Ask me whatever. I'm here. I don't have to leave here until 4:30. Yeah, around 4:30. So, I've got a couple hours free. Who wants to discuss what with me? Or not? Do you want to just nobody cares and move on from it all? You make the call. Hi, Chad. Anyone? Bueller. Bueller. Hey, Lacey. I've been pretty good. Went out to breakfast this morning with some friends that were plotting some political stuff. So, had a nice breakfast at a local mom and pop place here in town. Hello, Corey and Jessica. Whoop, whoop. What y'all want to talk about today? Hmm. Hmm. Should schedule a live, but we'll probably do it on YouTube though. Because I'm only here because this is, if you want to ask me gossip, this is a gossip place. If you want to get down and dirty on stuff. Um, but Friday the 13th, March the 13th, is when the Marnie Yang episode will air. So we'll watch that live and comment, and I'll call out any bullshit if there is any in that episode. We talked about a whole lot of it yesterday about my visit with Marnie and Melissa. Corey, what's up with the jail not having hot water? I am so fucking pissed off about that. But see, Melissa said it's not as big a deal to her because the prison they were in previously, there was never hot water. So she's used to the cold showers. But then when there's cold showers and then no heat, oh my God, this is, so I'm trying to make a stink on it. I emailed again our lieutenant governor, who claims that criminal justice reform, and specifically that prison, is a priority to her. So they have no hot water or heat, and just a couple weeks ago somebody died and was dead in their bunk for 24 hours before they were found. And she hadn't been feeling well, and they did not treat her. She died in her own vomit. Lacey says, what's the next step for Steven? Feels like it's a standstill. Why did the rumor start about Mama Avery? All right, so next up for Steven is, I believe the next hearing date scheduled for him is March 10th. So March 10th is when we should be hearing something. Why did the rumors start about Mama Avery? The one that she had died? That's because there's a Facebook group that's been taken over by guilters, and that's how they entertain themselves, to try and stir up the supporters and get them upset. So they first posted that Dolores had died, and then they posted that Brendan had died. So it's just sick individuals with nothing to do in their lives. Okay, no other questions right now. So, and let me clear up Zoe's misunderstanding on that situation as well. I was doing a live when it was first brought to my attention about Dolores. And so we were all trying to see if we could find anything on that online. Nobody was able to. So I emailed, never said I called her. I emailed um, Kathleen and said, there's a rumor online that Dolores has passed away. Can you confirm or deny? And like 20 minutes later, she emailed me back and said she just talked to Dolores. She's fine. That was it, just like a one sentence thing. I think it's funny when people twist around my words. I have never once said anything like Kathleen and I are buddies. I have said over and over that I'll email her on things on occasion. I don't harass her at all. Sometimes she responds to me, sometimes she doesn't. I fully admit Kathleen Zellner doesn't give a shit about me. So, yeah. Clearing up that one right now that I heard. Let me scroll. Hello, Debbie. What else do I need to clear up here that I've heard? Or have you heard? I know it's become all a big mess. Here's the sequence of events, okay, on the drama surrounding me in the last two days or so. People will come in to gossip. You know, when you want to post something here, you submit it and then the admins approve or deny it. Well, people have been trying to share videos that have Chad Keller in them. I will not promote anything that comes out of that man's mouth. People want to attack me and say that he was exonerated. He's never been exonerated. He was charged and went to prison and did time. Just because he isn't currently on a sex offender list does not mean he was exonerated from that crime. But even if there was no crime, the man called me a cunt in a private message to me and said he was going to punch me in the face. Over the years, he has been in people's private messages hitting on women, and when he's turned down, he calls them cunts and threatens them with violence. I have an issue with that. I don't want any part of a man who does that. And so I made a post telling people, not going to be posting any Chad stuff here. If you submit it, I'm going to delete it. If I find it like another admin, a moderator had approved it, or somebody puts it as a comment, I'm deleting it. That's it. I said, keep that shit in foul play. Foul play wants to have a woman abuser, sexual harasser in their group. That's on them. Do it. So then Chad made a video about me. So I came on here to discuss with you all. And then Zoe came on here attacking me, saying all these weird things that didn't even make any sense. So eventually I stopped responding to Zoe. Bottom line is, he threatens women. Don't want him here. Don't try to preach to me about he was exonerated. I don't fucking care. Don't care. I know what he said to me. I know what he said to other women. That's good enough for me. So no Chad in any group that I run. It's my party, and I'll block him if I want to. Let me scroll for your comments. Lacey says, and I'm reading comments because I know yesterday Tanya had a problem seeing comments. So I'm just going to read the ones out loud as I do it. So in case anybody else is having that issue. Lacey says, I came in late to knowing you, but even listening to what has happened doesn't make sense why the family has made you an enemy. The people, I know we have new people all the time. So do you want me to go down that road again on why the family hates me? Um, can I make this short? Because I ramble on. I ramble on. Um, okay, once upon a time, I was friends with Carla. Carla was the first one that I was close to. We were organizing the first Manitowoc rally when we were doing them all over the world. Um, and there was another girl there were three of us that were the main organizers of the event, even though I'm the one that did all the work. And the other people just wanted to be on the news and the credit. And so one of Carla's minions had reached out to press because, again, somebody who wants to be in press. So even though she wasn't doing any organizing of the event, she wanted press for it. The press then, the media outlet that she contacted wanted to talk to the actual organizers. So she reached out to me and the two other girls wanting to do a group Facebook when phone call, but the other two girls didn't answer. I did. Um, and so the minion told me, would you be comfortable with me giving this media person your contact information to talk to about this? And so then when I was done with the phone call, I put in the group message between me and the other two girls of what the minion wanted. And so from there, the one girl freaked out and said, I'm taking all of her press. This is her event, not mine, which, okay, I'm the one that did all the work and I'm not going to go through that whole story of it. And so then this girl, several times throughout the planning of this event, she would throw temper tantrums. She would quit. She would come back, temper tantrum, quit, come back, all that. So she ran to Carla, calling me a big meanie. I can't remember what she called me too. She called me something that was really funny, like a big meanie. It was really childish and stupid. Um, and so and this was just now like 5 days out from the event. Um, and I know I was at Jeff's print shop because I was making all the shirts, all the signs, the banners, pins, miscellaneous shit that was going to be at this rally. And so I'm on the phone with Carla. Carla talks shit about the girl, but then Carla had said to me, look, I can pull rank and tell you guys what you're going to do. And I went, oh, no, you can't. Carla's not the boss of anything. No, I don't take orders from you, Carla. And at that time, to this day, if you look at the petition that Barb will push, and she calls it the Barb Tadek Law, but really it's called the Juvenile Interrogation Protection Law. If you go on that petition and you scroll to the bottom, you will see it's managed by Free Brendan and Injustice Anywhere. I am Free Brendan. That is the petition we created and put up. And the founder of Injustice Anywhere, Bruce, who is my partner with Free Brendan, he's the one, we worked hard on that petition. Bruce and the lawyers from Injustice Anywhere did the bulk of it. I consulted with Laura Nyrider, so I would send her drafts and show it to her, and she would give me her notes, and we would change things for Nyrider's suggestion. And overnight, we were now blocked from access to the petition. And Carla had contacted Bruce wanting to tell him that I steal money. It's like the go-to move that everybody always does, not realizing that Bruce is somebody that I've known since high school. And I've known his wife since I was 8 because her backyard connected to my backyard growing up. So of course Bruce is going to instantly tell me. But so that was a little sneaky snaky thing that Carla did right from the get-go just because I said she's not the boss of me. And the family's been after me ever since. And then there's other things that I could go into. Let me scroll. Hello, Joyce and Peggy and Debbie. I never saw the other YouTube video. So glad. Katrina, he's a dirty pedo. Joyce says he shouldn't be allowed on Facebook. Melissa says, oh, your dog looks adorable. And I wouldn't want to promote that man either. Oh, yeah, that's little Maddie back there. See that part of the couch? She chewed that. So, yeah, isn't she precious? Karen says, Chad sounds like a lovely fellow. Peggy says, Chad gives me the creeps. Hello, Jerry. Heather says, Zoe was sent there by the mothership. Well, Zoe has since now even left the file play group. It's really weird. I don't understand it. So she left that group. And then something she claimed that Chad was not an admin of that group. Chad also left that group yesterday, but now he's back in an admin. As the drama turns. Lacey says, no, you don't have to. I'm just saying I don't get it. Oh, sorry, Lacey. Yeah, well, I've seen that after now I went into all that old, because that stuff all happened 4 years ago. Lacey, I just think they would want you on their side to help. Well, all they care about is money. So, and I don't care about the family having money. So, oh, and that's something I saw that Zoe was telling people. No, Zoe wasn't telling people. Let me correct that. Zoe didn't tell people. But again, claiming that I'm stealing donations, using Stephen Avery Project to steal donations to Stephen. Please, somebody go through the history of Stephen Avery Project, the public page. We have 207,979 people. Go find a single time that I've tried to get money from people on Stephen Avery Project. How is Stephen Avery Project taking money from Stephen? I've always told people if you want to give Stephen money, put it directly in his commissary or to Kathleen. So it's a stupid, this stealing money thing. They always throw it out there. There's absolutely no proof to it. Whatever. Monica, Jax has always been very upfront that she isn't in this to be famous. She does this for injustice. Even when Stephen and the family hate her 1 minute and love her the next, she stays the same and advocates for him no matter what. I don't get why people twist it. Yeah. They all hate me. They all do, look at them constantly trying to screw up my life. Yet I'm still here. Why would I take this abuse? And I don't care. I don't care what they think of me. They can continue telling everybody I steal money. Go for it. Maybe I could show you that I don't, because that's on my agenda for things to do today in my divorce. Is my husband's lawyer wants bank statements for the whole 6 years my husband and I have been divorced. So you want to see where my money's at? All the money I have? Wee. Hello, Anne. I'm doing well. People replying to each other. Hello, Samantha. Julia says, if Jax is wrong, at least she'll admit it. I absolutely will admit it. Like I've said when we were doing the phone calls on YouTube, and I've said, I owe the family an apology when I've ripped on them for never going and visiting Stephen. I now completely understand why they wouldn't. After hearing the way he talks to his family in the phone calls, I wouldn't go visit him either if I were them. So I was wrong on that. Fully admit it. Hello, sir. From Germany. Well, welcome. Jasmine says, still waiting and backing Stephen from the UK. Yep, March 10th, right? That's the date for Stephen. March 10th is when we should hear something. Debbie says, Jax, just keep doing what you're doing. We love you. Well, thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. Corey says, that's because they do. Carla, a Red Lobster gift card. That's going to go down in infamy. I swear, the Red Lobster gift card. Renee says, you don't need to defend yourself. Let your actions speak louder than their lies. Thank you, Renee. Samantha says, Jax, don't care what people say or think about you. You know the truth, and we love what you're doing. Thank you, Samantha. Debbie says, Jax, I saw about the girls' prison not having heat and hot water. Is there nothing local authorities can do? I know. I now have people because it's in Illinois, and I have the Justice with Jax page, and I believe I also posted it on my Friends Who March page. I'm pretty sure Friends Who March is not for everybody. I'm not plugging it for you all because a lot of you will hate it. It is my activism page here in Illinois, and I am a Democrat. So you do not want to follow Friends Who March if you hate Democrats. But so people that are local are now contacting their state reps. So hopefully that'll do something. I asked Tammy today when we have the press conference next week after Marnie's court hearing, there's all that press there. Could we say something there? But she doesn't think that would be a wise time to do it because nobody's going to care because they care all about Marnie's case. So, and I emailed my lieutenant governor today to see if I could get a meeting to talk with her. I don't know, but I mean, it's cold. What? Let's see. I mean, it's not cold. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up on my phone, and I put in the wrong code. What temperature is it here right now in Chicagoland? 21 degrees. So, and their weather down there is similar to what I have here. So, so it's around 21 degrees. That's cold. And I don't know how cold it's getting at night. And that's what Melissa was saying. She's having a hard time sleeping because she's so cold. And she's got the hot pot in her room. So she's able to heat up some water in the hot pot and she puts it in a water bottle. And, she's like laying in the fetal position around the hot water bottle. That's not right, and that pisses me off. She said the boiler went out, and it's like, well, how long are these girls expected to be without heat? This is no, that's an emergency. It's cold. There's a law. I don't know if it's a law everywhere, but that landlords, so if you have an apartment or whatever that's climate controlled, that they can't have it below like 65 degrees or whatever. And we're in the 20s, and these girls have no heat. Elizabeth says, Jax's actions absolutely speak loud and proud and show her passion for helping others. Thank you. Ooh, Monica says, reach out to the health department. That's a good suggestion. Carrie says, hi all, I will be listening in while transit. Jax, you rock. Shout out the haters negative, or shut out, sorry. Shout it. Negative vibes. And don't think by me making this video, because I know people will say to me, don't feel bad or whatever. I'm fine. It really doesn't affect me. I am just going live in case there's anybody that are in both groups and or watch their videos and have a question for me on something somebody's alleging against me. Ask me and you'll get my honest answer. I'm not a liar. I know that's what Zoe keeps now saying, is that I'm a liar. Not a liar. Hello, Snooze. Oh, Debbie says very cold and lots of snow here in Scotland. Cherry says, how about building inspector being called to access that building? Yeah, Cherry, no hot water for showers either. Yeah. Snooze says, how can that happen? Human rights laws, surely. You would think so. There are so many things that's happening in that prison that is just wrong. I mean, and no heat and water is bad. I know that inmates are being raped by officers. I know, and we are not going to fight about the LGBT community. Um, but there has been trans women there who have male body parts, and female inmates want to have sex with that body part. So now those trans women are able to, they're charging people for sex. But then you have other women that aren't interested in it. And since it's one thing if you identify as a female and you're living as a female, but if you're using your male genitalia, now they're afraid could they be raped by this person in here. Bothers me. Joy says everyone thinks they're just prisoners, right? And everybody thinks that they're just on the taxpayer dime. They're not. They pay for everything, and their families pay for everything. So this isn't this huge cash cow. Yeah, they're given basic food, but if they all everything else they buy, you know, deodorant, mouthwash, toothpaste. They buy it all. Um, Julia says it was hilarious when you told Zoe she was drunk. Well, Julia, let me correct that because she got so defensive on that. I said she sounds drunk. I don't know if she's drinking. That's why I'm asking her. You sound drunk. The way she was typing was weird. And so I had also told her at one point, how about slow your roll, slow down, and type more carefully. So because maybe she's so mad and going, because I don't like the grammar, please. This is the internet. I don't care if you abbreviate or you misspell. Me. I know how to spell. And I have typos all the freaking time. I'll scream at my phone, my iPad, whatever I'm using, because you hit enter or whatever, and then all of a sudden it had changed the word you typed into something else, and it's like, no, what? So I'm not going to correct people on misspelling, but she kept doing it. And I know that's not her. And so it's like, what is going on here? Because now you're typing these paragraphs. That's this gobbledygook that I can't understand what you're saying. So stop and slow down, and type. And that's why I'm like, are you drunk? Because, this sounds drunk. And then, that really got her. I'm a big meanie because I called her drunk. Debbie says, what about the governor? I've tried, but now, and I love our governor here in Illinois. I was actually a field organizer for him when he was running for governor in last year. So I love our governor. He is great, and he is doing far more in Illinois than I even thought he was going to. He has far surpassed my expectations. So I know he's got a lot on his plate, but let's look into this criminal justice reform. Something needs to be done. So I'm going to end up being really annoying, I guess. I don't, that I'm going to have to keep, but I'm concentrating right now on our lieutenant governor and actually his wife, because MK Pritzker, his wife, because Juliana Stratton and MK Pritzker have said one of their top priorities is criminal justice reform, specifically Logan Correctional, where Melissa and Marnie are. It is the only maximum prison in Illinois. So they've taken tours there, which the girls tell me the tours for them are stupid because, of course, they only take them to where they want them to see. So like when I go there and visit yesterday, of course the visitors room has heat and hot water. It's their places that don't. Of course, when I walk in there into the visitors room, it had just been freshly mopped and everything's all clean. But I'm told in a lot of those rooms where the girls are, the ceilings are falling down, there's mold. Yeah. So, but and they're not showing the lieutenant governor that. So, uh, you know, um but I understand too because I used to be like that. I used to be there in prison. So, suffer. You should suffer. You're in there for a reason. It shouldn't be easy. You're being punished. A punishment should be hard. Um, but I've flip flopped on that. So again, I will admit when I'm wrong. And no, no, them being separated from their life, from the world, is their punishment. I'm not telling you to, put them on, Princess and the Pea and, all these mattresses and, lap of luxury in there. Of course, it's not supposed to be easy, but you're torturing them. So, and you don't have to be whipping somebody for it to be torture. Those people are being tortured and it's wrong. Joyce says they don't think about them being people. Right. And they are, guilty or not. There are people there. Whoa. And when these people are going to be released, if you keep holding them down and treating them like they're nothing, what do they do when they get out? And then when you do things like try to stop them from having a life once they've served their time, all they have left is crime, drugs and crime, and go right back. And don't even, because I'm sure people are calling me a hypocrite because of Chad, and he did his time, blah, blah, blah. As I've already said, he currently is abusing women. He preys upon them, private messages them, hits on them. When turned down, they get threatened and screamed at. That is abuse. So, but people should also know the guy did time, and he claims exonerated, which is a lie. Oh, wait. Scrolling. Elizabeth said, if my landlord left me with no heat, I could call environmental health department. Yeah. Why is it different for inmates? Why is it okay for an inmate to live that way? And, there's people who are in that prison, this isn't, even though it's a max prison for women, it's not like everybody there are alleged killers. There's people in there, for a simple drug offense and are only going to be there, 18 months. And, really, and you're treating them like this. Kitty says it's a pretty sticky situation with trans in the prison system. They get raped in with the men and then have the safety of the women in the women's prison. Yeah, Kitty, I don't know what the answer is there. I am somebody very sensitive to the subject. I have a trans nephew who just turned 18. I am somebody, a live and let live. I am the choice girl. Your life is your life. So I will defend, I will I will fight you over the LGBT community and their rights. But I do understand what's being said in the prison, since these trans women are using their male genitalia and how that could then scare the other women. So it's, slippery slope there. Joyce says, I missed the whole Zoe episode. Yeah. Um, well, that video is here, but see, this is another reason why I do videos most of the time on YouTube because it gets hard to find. So I think you have to go into Facebook through a browser and not your Facebook app. And or it's the other way around. It's one or the other. And then you'll be able to find all the videos that are up here in MAM Gossip. And there's some good ones in there from like when we went to Manitowoc and stuff, which I still have to go back. But sorry, just too much has been going on. I know I made that post in Gossip forever ago saying, plan where you want me to go next. And then I haven't gone. Julia says her typing was gibberish. Yeah. Um, Shelley says they are not being reformed, right? Exactly. So what are they supposed to do when they get out? And then when they get out, every turn they make, they get shut down again. You know? Kelly says, what did he spend time in prison for? It's Kelly, I don't even know what it is. It's some child sex crime. Sex and it even says it like a child under the age of 3. And there were like 3 different children. Yeah, I don't know. Cuz um I don't give a shit about the man. So I don't spend my time thinking of, oh, and that's another thing I need to clear up. Christy. Christy, who used to be a moderator here and has now taken over Foul Play and is in love with Chad. She is claiming that she left here because she fought for Chad's honor. We didn't talk about Chad at all. I didn't even know she was having her romance with Chad until yesterday. Because I just don't care. What happened with Christy is she's kind of preying on um um the wrongfully convicted people and their families. And so she's been doing some really shady stuff for quite some time. Um, didn't like it, but I ignored it. And then during a live on YouTube, somebody sent me a screenshot of how she's now all buddy buddy with Carla Chase, which she's got every right to be friends with Carla. I don't give a shit. But you're not going to have access to Stephen Avery Project as a moderator. We have people message Stephen Avery Project with tips. We have press that contact us. There's a lot of stuff in having moderator power with Stephen Avery Project. And so the Carla thing, in me knowing of just how shady Carla is, and now you're buddy buddy with her, nope, last straw, you're out. And so I removed her as a moderator. I did not kick her out of the group. I just removed her power to see any of that stuff because I do not want it passed on to Carla. It's none of Carla's business. So I think it's hysterical that Christy's telling people she left here because she stood up for Chad. Didn't happen. That's made up. So it cracked me up when I was shown the screenshots of her posting that yesterday or today or whenever it was. Okay, back to your posts. Pamela says, I thought this was an innocent project for Stephen and Brendan. No, this where you're at right now. This is MAM Gossip. This is a gossip group to talk about any kind of bullshit I want to talk about. Stephen Avery Project is about Stephen's innocence. Free Brendan is about Brendan's innocence. I've put it in MAM Gossip a whole bunch of times. If you even look in MAM Gossip and you look at the about, let me click on it over here on my other screen. If it will load. Oh my God, my stuff is so slow. I'm still waiting for it to load. Let's go. . All right. It says this group is to discuss all the drama that surrounds the Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey cases, the family, the obsessed fans, endless theories. We also discuss other cases of the wrongfully accused and true crime. This group is not a fangirl group. If you're looking for a group that is just going to worship the Avery family, this ain't it. So that's the description for what MAM gossip is. So that's what this is. This is not a innocent project for Stephen and Brendan. I'm scrolling, people replying to each other, and then I just skip there. Yeah, Shelly, under 3. Claire says, what Christy, your friend? She was never my friend. And Christy was not an admin here forever. She was here for maybe 6 months. Maybe 6 months. She's somebody that was very new to the case and she got really involved in it. And the other moderators here suggested we pick up another moderator, and Christy was suggested, and so we added her. But she was never my friend. She's just, a moderator, an online person. I do know that she lied to Kent Pellegrini, an inmate that I advocate for. When she turned her attention on him, she started that relationship out by telling him that she and I were really good friends. So then he trusted her because of that, because I am his person that, runs his Justice for Kent page, and I'm his go-between between him and his lawyers. I go to his hearings and so on. So she manipulated and lied to Kent, claiming that she and I were friends when we weren't. So that was the first little thing for me that I was like, what's going on here? This is really weird. But I kept letting shit go. Scroll. Kitty says, yeah, you don't need sensitive information getting out to anyone. I hope she has small children. She doesn't have them around him. Yeah. Shelly says, Jax, when I first heard of Marnie, you told me to watch a crime show about it. On Marnie? I don't think I told you to watch something on Marnie, because on Marnie, I have said every crime show that there's been out on Marnie Yang's case is really bad for Marnie. Makes that they all claim Marnie is just guilty. There's never been anything out to show Marnie's side until hopefully February 13th, when this one comes out, that Marnie actually talked to them. Marnie has never spoken to the press. Marnie has never told her side of the story. So, but Melissa, there are 2 48 hours episodes about Melissa's case, one called Blaming Melissa, and the sequel, The Fight for Melissa, that Kathleen Zellner is. And that absolutely shows how Melissa is innocent. Kelly said, I was watching those 2 earlier. Still don't know what's going on, but last I knew, everyone got along before. Guess I was off the groups too long. Yeah, Kelly, it just goes around and around. It's all bizarre. Shelly says, when I finished, you asked me what I thought, and I said guilty. You said some evidence that they had. Did they ever reveal what that was? Shelly, in October, we filed a 600 plus page brief in Marnie's case that is posted. I think it's in a closed group, though, so I don't think you have any access to that group to read it. There's a lot of the evidence, tons of evidence in that brief. You could probably Google Marnie Yang now, because there's been a lot of press since the two hearings we've had, the one in October and the one we had last month, that talks a little bit of what was in the brief. So, but Shelley, you can also, since this is Ask Jax Anything time, if you want to tell me your reasons for thinking Marnie is guilty, I can tell you the opposite side to that evidence on why she's not. Heather says, good Lord, is she looking for a man? Well, she's actually married, but having online relationships with other dudes. Whatever. Carrie says, I vote for Heather as next mod. Yeah, I keep thinking about, see, it's hard. I keep thinking about if I should add new moderators, because I know the moderators that have been here forever, I don't think they even come in here anymore. I think they've mostly lost interest in the case because of the way Steven's family is and the way Steven is. So they're going on with their lives until there's actually a new hearing or court, something that to be updated on the case. But they're so over all this bullshit, so they never come into these groups. They don't go into gossip or Stephen Avery Project, and to be honest, I don't really either. That I've been doing this now for 4 years. I've heard all the theories. I've gone down all those rabbit holes. And, so I'm happy for people here who are delving into the evidence and looking into things, but I'm just like, I don't want to read it. So, so it's like, yeah, I should bring on new people who do want to monitor what's getting posted. And so if people post bullshit, they can just get rid of it. But as of right now, Susan, do you think you are the only outstanding candidate? Okay, sorry. Oh, that was funny. I'm distracted now. What was I saying? Or I just tell you all, if you see something, report it that you think is questionable. So you're reporting it to a moderator, and then I'll look at it whenever I come on, and then I'll approve it or remove it. Oh, that person is funny. Shelley says, yes, you told me to watch it so I would know what happened. It did portray her as guilty. Okay. Well, like I said, go ahead and fire away if you would like and tell me why you think she's guilty, and I'll explain to you why she's not. Christina says, hey, everyone, to my surprise, alive. Yay, what's happening? um, I just decided to come on again because the drama from yesterday is continuing and people still saying more shit about me. So I'm like, all right, I have a little window right here. So if anybody has anything they want to question me on, go for it. Hold on now. I got to respond to this person. Whoops. I am told if you don't respond quickly, why aren't you automatically correcting my typo? The job fails and then you get put into another pool, I guess. Okay. Kind of like Debbie Glemp. Yep, exactly, Heather. Kitty says, it's hard to find people to trust with sensitive information that won't use it for their own fame, financial gain. Right, Kitty? That's why, I wasn't sure about adding her because all the other moderators here are people who were with Stephen Avery Project before me. So I trust them implicitly, they're the ones that brought me on to take it over when Curtis moved on. So, and then you see what lots of people I've dealt with over the 4 years or whatever it's been in Making a Murderer, um, how it ends up being. I'm told that Christy is doing a story time with Christy or some shit like that, where she's reading Kratz's book on live. And it's like, yeah, I've already done that here in Gaza. So she's like totally my single white female, just trying to become me, I guess. She had also said that she would never ever go on camera, and had no interest in any of that. And now I'm told she's like live all the freaking time. Shelly says, "Ha, it's been a while since I watched it, so I'm gonna have to refresh myself." Yeah, Shelly, I know. When I watched it, or even when the case was first brought to me. I know I've mentioned this before. When the case was first brought to me and wanting me to advocate for this case, I messaged the admins because, like I've already said, these are people I completely trust. And, once upon a time, they did all the investigating too in Stephen's case and whatnot. So they're good investigators. And I was like, okay, Marnie Yang, that's another one that I'm probably going to take on. Let's start digging into her and see what we find. And so even they told me, when they were looking at it, they're like, she's guilty. Are you sure you want to do this? So, and then when I'm looking up the stuff too, I'm like, this all looks really bad. It really does. But then I'm shown stuff and see that she is innocent. And everybody has to, come to their decision on their own. I'm not going to sit there and, tell you have to think this way. I get it. I get that why people think she's guilty. I get it. I can give you an explanation for the things and you can take it or leave it. Okay, that person responding to me on there too. Debbie, dear Lord, we need the preacher lady. I think I might break all your hearts. I'm thinking I'm not going to cover those calls any longer. Well, and it's something that Zoe threw at me, about, but you're happy to use our calls. Okay, well, I have stated over and over again that I hate listening to those calls. I dread it. I don't like it. Um, I think those calls are actually hurting Stephen because people are then seeing the real Stephen and they don't like him. I think it's an invasion of his privacy, even though they say all calls will be recorded, to sit there and listen to every phone call Stephen ever did. So I don't think I'm going to cover those calls anymore. So there will be no more preacher lady or anything. But we can find other things on YouTube that we can chat about. And like I said, we can watch other documentaries together and discuss those. We can have on YouTube just like this, the Ask Jax, and we can cover any topic. So, but yeah, I think I'm done with those calls. Or we can have, people just say, I want to discuss such and such that happened on this call. And we can do that. But I don't think we need to be invading the private life any longer. Sherry says, thinking of that prison the girls are in, do their lawyers not know the bad conditions, that they aren't going after the system for poor living environment for their clients? No, I don't believe they know. I don't think the lawyers know. It's only because I'm there every other week. And so the girls tell me, and then when I talk to other people who are there visiting other inmates, as we're talking, when we're walking from building to building, Um, okay. Sorry, reading that message. What was I saying now? Oh, so it's because I'm there and I'm talking to people that I know. I don't think it's gotten to the lawyer. And now I have to put, well, actually, we've said I don't need to hold this microphone, right? You can hear me just fine. I have to answer here. Okay. I will gladly give you her info if you need it. Hope you're feeling better. Heather says, as a mother, I would have done the same thing if they were going to do to my son what they were going to do to Marty's son. Yeah. Kitty says, I don't blame you. You haven't wanted to cover them from the get-go. Heather says, can we watch Christy reading together? Maybe that's something we can do on YouTube too. We'll do story time with Jax. Joyce says I couldn't listen to them. Debbie says, yes, I agree. They aren't good for Steven. Debbie says, I gave up listening to them. They just annoy me. Kitty says, we'll have to find other stuff to do over there. Sherry says, I listened to about 5 calls. That was enough. Joyce said, I tried a few times but couldn't take it. Elizabeth says, forget the calls, Jax. You've not liked them from the start. If we want to know where to find them. Rhonda says, I agree. It's too invasive and not good for Steven. Heather says, I unsubscribed from, I need to do that too, actually. Tiffany says, I only listened here, never on my own. I enjoy the chit-chatting with everyone. Oh, and that's something that I started another group that if you don't know already, that's called MAM Gossipers. And I also have the setting on that where I don't have to approve you. So if you are an MAM Gossip member and you, what is the word I'm looking, that you apply to be a member or whatever it is, you'll be automatically approved in there. And then I also have the post set in there that I don't have to approve any of the posts. So MAM Gossipers is where you can talk about absolutely anything. Because when we've been covering these calls, our chat goes off into talking about food, which some douchebag posted on the Justice with Jax page, a comment somewhere where he says, I just want to know when we can watch you eat on a video. Whatever. Yep. So when I do live videos, there's going to be times that I'm going to eat, and I like to eat. So don't care. So MAM Gossipers is, so, if you all still want to continue chatting when I'm not live, that's the place you can do it. You can talk about whatever you want in there. Just please play nice. Don't attack each other. You can have opinions on things. You can disagree on things, but you can't say, I fucking hate you because you just said the sky was blue and I say it's green. So be nice to each other. Thank you, Carrie can hear me when I put it down. Hi, Tara. Cherry says, Jax, please reach out to KZ about the living conditions. Maybe she can help faster getting fixed. Huh. Yeah, I've never told Kathleen about it. Okay. That reminds me, Melissa asked me to do something for her yesterday and I haven't done it. I need a post-it note to remind me when I'm off of here to do it. Melissa. Okay. Hopefully that will remind me to do it. Told her I would do that for her and I completely forgot because of this bullshit. Tara, what did I miss? Bullshit. Christina says, before making a murderer and joining Jax's group, I didn't think 2 seconds about inmates. To me, if they were in prison, they are guilty and should rot there. I'm ashamed now. Can any of us really understand what it must be like to live in prison and to be innocent in prison on top of that? It's incredibly horrible. Stephen, Marnie, and Melissa are innocent, which is devastating to think about. Yeah, I was very pro death penalty prior to watching Making a Murderer. And now I have to go, because when you look at these cases and you see the extent that people whose job it is to protect, to serve and protect. And we're supposed to be a government of laws, a land of laws. And you see that people are going to purposely plant sweaty sweat, a key, a bullet, doctor an x-ray, I mean, the list goes on and on. So it's like, how can you know? I mean, how can, and now I'm going to sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist, which I swear to you I am not. But in this day and age with technology, even if they had a video of something, like if they had a closed captioning, you know, somebody's security camera thing, how do you know they didn't doctor it and put somebody's, the person's face now on the other person's body to be the killer because that's their narrative? You just don't know. So I'm against the death penalty now, which is just wild for me, because I'm telling you, yeah, up until Making a Murderer, I was very death penalty. Shelley says, Steve sounds controlling in phone calls, but that's the only form of control he has ever had. Plus, he doesn't trust anyone, which I understand, Shelley, you know, but I understand Stephen's life has been taken from him from the 2 times he's been incarcerated, and that he is institutionalized. But I do now understand why his family didn't want to talk to him or visit him. I don't fault them for it at all. And I don't want to listen to the calls of him telling his mother he's going to sue her and talking shit about Dolores. The only person who has believed him from the start, has been with him the entire time. And he hangs up on his mother. I don't want to listen to it. I don't. And I don't think it reflects well on Stephen. I do not think those calls should be there. Elizabeth says, so long as we can chat and eat popcorn together. I don't have my cheese popcorn, but I do have some microwave popcorn. But I have to go to a meeting in Chicago tonight that is at a restaurant. So I suppose I shouldn't snack now. Christina says, go watch the baby shark videos on Gossipers. Hilarious. Oh my God. Yeah, I never go in Gossipers. I don't even know what's in there. Because I don't get notified of anything in there. So I don't pay attention to it. So I'm really bad. Kitty says, you need an assistant. Tanya says, oh my God, I got comments back. I can see comments. I'm so excited. That's why I've been reading all the comments, Tanya. Tanya, so the conference. I reached out to the conference and I asked them if, you know, because since I'm an advocate for the wrongfully accused, if I could get a better deal on the ticket. And they said the best they could do is knock $100 off. So instead of the tickets being $550, it's $450. I still can't do it. Maybe I need to go steal more of Stephen's money. Maybe I'll do that. I'll have Stephen Avery Project steal Stephen's money, and then I can pay the $450 it would cost for me to go to that Innocence Project conference in Chicago. I'm still trying to work it. I'm still trying to figure out a way, Tanya, that I can go to it because I really, really want to go. I really want to go and try and bring awareness to Marnie and Melissa. Um, so it's not over for me yet. I'm still gonna keep trying to work every angle I can because if I can get the $150 price, I'll pay the 150. That I can eke out. I can't do the 550, and now they've offered me the 450. So mm. um Pamela says, "Oh, wait, two, before I move on from that. One of the people who are going to be at this conference, and I know I messaged it to Tanya and talked to her about it, but another reason why I really want to go, Penny Bernstein. She pisses me the fuck off. So I would like to have some words with Penny Bernstein on why she turned her back on Stephen after what she did to him. She is part of taking away 18 years of Stephen's life. You know Stephen didn't do that to you. And as soon as he was charged with this, you were so quick to tell press that he was guilty. Now, I understand her annoyance with Stephen because Stephen looks at her as rich, and he did come to her and told her she should buy him a house. So she was annoyed with Stephen. Get that. I understand that. But to instantly jump on he's guilty, same thing with the Wisconsin Innocence Project and everybody who was part of the Avery bill. They so quickly deserted Stephen. You didn't give him the benefit of the doubt when you knew what happened to him the first time, and you knew the people who were part of that the first time are part of it now. So why would you instantly believe Lank, Colborn, Peterson? Why? So Penny Bernstein is going to be at that, and I want some words with her. Okay, Pamela says, kind of reminds me of the witch trials in Salem, Massachusetts, back in the day. If they just say you are a witch, you had no chance. Well, that's something that I like in my whole activism world, the meme that says, we are the granddaughters of the witches you weren't able to burn. That's me. I even have a witch hat that I wear on occasion during, since I'm called the witch. I'll be one. Kitty says people are proven innocent all the time, and the rate keeps growing with the newest technology and science, DNA evidence. Yeah, it's crazy. But then when you hear all these people have been released, 30 years they've been in there, 20 years, all that life stolen. How do you get that back? You can't. Shelley says Jeffrey Dahmer, all clear-cut cases should be put to death. Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer was clearly guilty. Yeah. O.J. Simpson is clearly guilty. Staircase guy is clearly guilty. Fight me. He's guilty. Staircase guy, guilty. I wouldn't put him to death, but he's guilty. Tabby says we need to trust the law and faith. I know you should be able to trust the law. I did previously to making a murderer. I don't now. Carrie says, agreed, Jax. Photoshop is crazy and scary for people who are getting blamed for wrongdoings. Just talk to Jeff, my boyfriend, print shop guy. I've had him Photoshop so many different things for my activism. Yeah. So I don't know the tech stuff. I'm not good at it, but I know there's plenty of people who are. And so just because you have something now on video, Marnie's case video. Something in Marnie's case is, so Marnie had a rental vehicle. I'm not going to go way down that rabbit hole for you all. So Marnie had a rental vehicle around the time of this this murder. And so the state has security cam video from a gas station, and that's showing the street, and they're saying at that time, look, ooh, there goes a car, and that was the car Marnie rented. You can barely really see anything. You can just see it's kind of a black car, blah, 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 but they're saying that's the Volkswagen Rabbit that she rented or whatever it was. Our experts have since proven that that's not, no, it's not. And they've gone to the same spot, and they have filmed, and they have used the car, and those experts could, it's not, that's not her rental car driving by that gas station at that time. So just because somebody's got something on video doesn't mean it's real. Andrew says, the lack of forensic evidence that matches any theory of the state is the main problem in making a murder. Forensic evidence tells the truth unbiased. Right, but you can't trust the forensic evidence in this lack of or anything, because you can't trust Sherry Culhane, because Sherry Culhane was part of him with the Penny Bernstein case. Penny Bernstein was told to test that DNA, that it was going to free Stephen, and she sat on it for a year and didn't do it. Left him in there a little bit longer before she ran that test. And then she's told, put her in his house or garage. And she tainted the evidence. So you can't trust the forensics in this case, because they've manipulated it, and you have somebody who was part of Stephen, the Penny Bernstein case. It's so frustrating. On all points, they screwed Stephen and Brendan over. Everywhere you turn. Cherry says, wow, glad I missed those calls. Last calls I heard was when he was just arrested. Oh, yeah. Shelley says, I don't want to put anyone down, but they have been considered lower class. That's the way they do drama. Yeah, Kelly says, yes, Penny Bernstein is wrong both times. Now, I understand how Penny was manipulated the first time. It is no different than the Reed technique used on Brendan to coerce a false confession. So Penny was manipulated into thinking it was Stephen. Don't fault her on that. That is still, again, law enforcement did this. Penny is a victim 2 times over. She was a victim by, what's his name? What is his name that really did it? Starts with an R, right? See, I'm so out of the, it flashes and then it's gone. Doesn't matter. So she was a victim when she was assaulted. And then she's a victim of Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department, who the woman there who is friends with Sandra Morris wanted something bad to happen to Stephen. So she's instantly saying, that sounds like Stephen Avery. And then you have the pencil drawing his mug shot. Is this who it is? Is his name Greg? Oh, why am I not remembering that guy's name? And there's no denying Stephen and the real guy do look alike. They do. So it would be so easy to convince Penny that it was Stephen. And her assault lasted less than like 10 minutes. It's a flash. And all this is happening. And she's scared. And she's, as far as she knows, she's fighting for her fucking life. So, I don't blame her for that. I blame her for when this happens to Stephen the second time around, she's instantly on the he's guilty train. She should have done no comment then. Just say no comment. No comment. No comment.
No comment. Tanya says, but she told Steven that if she could do anything for him, he should ask. She probably didn't mean a house, but she did say it. Good point, Tanya. And that's to assuage her guilt on what was done to Steven, and I get that. I would want to do something for him too. But they think just because the family owns a candy store, I don't know if there's a chain, but they have a candy store, that it makes them rich. Owning a store doesn't make you rich. But on the other hand, I do know the Bernstein family lived here in Naperville, which is the next town over from me. And Naperville is quite the richy rich town. But there's not as richy rich areas. So I don't know if the Bernsteins were in the McMansion area or a regular area. So, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if she's got money or not. She doesn't have to buy Steven a house. And I understand being like, oh, wait, I don't mean that. um, so, and I guess you can't blame Steven for trying, you know. But so, like I said, I understand her being uncomfortable around him because of them asking her for a house, but you don't jump to guilty. Just be no comment. So I really would like to talk to her about that. Um, Kelly says you should start a Patreon. I don't know what that is, to raise money. Don't know exactly how to do that, but I see people use that to raise money. And Kelly, I'm always leery about doing anything about raising money because that's their go-to every time, is that I steal money. So even yesterday when I was live, a couple of women wanted to contribute to the money I spend when I go visit Melissa and Marnie. And so I posted my PayPal link and they both deposited money. Thank you very much. But that gets used against me. And I'm uncomfortable. It does help me, though. It truly does. But I'm uncomfortable. And I don't know what a Patreon is, Kelly. Shelly says staircase guy is guilty. And it's not an owl. Casey Anthony is guilty. Oh, there's Tiffany. Nah, an owl did it. Not a freaking owl. Oh my God, that's so crazy to me. He's guilty. The Jinx guy is guilty. Because that's another thing, like guilters will say that, we just think everybody is innocent. No, I don't. There's a lot of people that I think is guilty. And so that's what I've said about Melissa and Marnie and Steven and Brendan and Kent. If I came across something that showed me that I'm wrong and these people are guilty, I would quickly go, oh my God, they're guilty, and I would walk. Because there's nothing in it for me to be advocating for them. Nothing. Other than personal satisfaction, I guess. I like to try and help. I like visiting with them and talking to them and, trying to take their mind off of things. So it's one of those that when you do good for others, you feel good, so it's not selfless, I guess, when you do it, because you are getting the personal satisfaction from helping someone else. And he killed his first wife too. Or that his, no, that wasn't his wife. It was a friend. And then he adopted her daughters, right? Gregory Allen, thank you, Heather and Christina. Kitty says, when a person experiences trauma, the brain can shut down and do all kinds of things to protect you from experiencing it. And then also Gregory Allen, thank you. Cherry says, what is it? Okay, so Patreon, is that what it's called? Is like a paid subscriber site where only paid people see content. Kitty, and then Kitty says Patreon is used as a monthly subscription for different levels of money for different content. Aha. So instead of doing where you need the 1,000 subscribers on YouTube before you can put ads on it and make money off your videos, this would be a thing. You'd have to be a paid subscriber to even see my videos. See, but I don't think people would pay to see me talk. I mean, I know we enjoy these little chats that we do on occasion, but I don't think people want to pay for it. So that's why I guess like when you're doing it on YouTube, if you have to deal with an ad, you can suffer through an ad that the person makes a couple of pennies, but to have to pay to be on the site, I don't know, I would just feel weird about that. Why would people want to pay to hear me talk? Christy agrees. Staircase guy was guilty, and Casey Anthony as guilty as they get. That case was a true miscarriage of justice for that little girl. Yeah, and then what did I just watch on 2020 last week? What's that girl? I can't remember her name now. You guys will remember it. Killed her boyfriend. Because she's so guilty and crazy, that was doing the headstand in the interrogation room when she was in there by herself. That girl's guilty. Heather says I'd pay for up-to-date info on cases. Carrie says I wouldn't be able to afford a subscription. Jen says, for some reason, I wasn't notified you went live. I'm just joining what's going on. Just talking about miscellaneous bullshit. Nothing in particular, Jen. It's Ask Jax Anything, so we've been on for an hour and 20 minutes now. Kitty says, yep, but you can do all kinds of stuff from exclusive vids to t-shirt or signed copy of a book or phone, photos, etc. Jody Arias, yep. $5 a month. Up, Debbie says, Jody Arias. Hello, Debbie. That Debbie Conway Stover. So I'll out her. I've known her since junior high school. Yeah. So, so Debbie knows me way before any of this stuff because we went to 6th, 7th, and 8th grade together, and then on to high school as well. So hello, Debbie. The next Debbie says, anyone seen the show Criminal on Netflix? Well, worth a watch. I don't think I saw Criminal. I finished that Pharmacist. I didn't like it. I get what he did. The guy's amazing. I want the doctor taken down, but it just didn't keep my interest. What am I watching on there now? I'm watching a series from the UK, I think, called The Stranger or something like that. So I'm like 3 episodes into that, I think. The Stranger or Strangers or something like that. And Kelly also saying Jody Arias. Carolyn says, what do you think of the girl who supposedly told her boyfriend to get back in the truck to kill himself? She so did, that little bitch. Oh my God. She helped push that kid into doing that. That's horrible. She's a bully. I don't know what you do to her. Her punishment, the punishment she got did not fit the crime. She was not punished. I blame her. I I blame her. Guilty. I need a gavel. Judge Jax. Guilty. Yes. You're welcome, Debbie. Oh, other Debbie didn't like Pharmacist either. Heather says OJ 25 is on court TV every Thursday night for anyone who wants to relive that circus. Oh my God, I watched that trial when it was going on. He is so guilty, and that glove fit. The glove don't fit, you must acquit. That glove fit. That glove had been sprayed in chemicals and stuff, and it's leather, and it shrunk a little bit, and then he did everything he could to be, it doesn't fit. The glove fit. He killed Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson. Who's pulling into my driveway? Just turning around. Okay. I live on a dead end, so lots of people then use my driveway to turn around in. So it's like, wait, who's that? Okay, yeah, just somebody turning around. Oh, Elizabeth, okay. So, okay, Elizabeth and Dano have seen The Stranger. Okay, yeah. So I will continue watching that when I like it so far. Um, well, I think I'm probably farther in it than the 3 episodes. Um, so yeah, I like it. Kitty says it was long and drawn out. Could have condensed it a bit more on the pharmacist. Yeah. Julia says, "Phew, I thought I was the only one who didn't like the pharmacist." Carolyn says, "Did you watch the I Love You Now Die documentary?" I don't think so. I don't think I saw that. I mean, that title sounds familiar to me, but I don't think I watched that. Krista says, "I just finished that series. It was good." All right, good. Oh, Tanya, I absolutely love The Pharmacist. That show so closely tied to the stuff that happened in Adam's case. The cover up of the illicit pill mills were the reason Adam was wrongfully convicted. Yeah, I don't really know Adam's case, Tanya. I keep saying all these years, I really should look into his case because I know so many people from Stephen's case really got involved in it. And I just never have. But maybe if I show up at that conference, you guys can all fill me in on Adam's case. And if anything I can do to help with Adam's case, because there's a movie that is Fear the Hills. Is that a movie that is being made on Adam's case or something like that? So if there's anything I can share and promote on that, please let me know. Jen says, "Look at the soaked bleach if y'all can find that. I feel that is what happened to Kurt Cobain. I don't think he killed himself." Jen, I have watched so many different things on Kurt Cobain, and yeah, things don't add up there. So, and is Courtney Love involved in that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a definite thing on that, Jen, but things are weird there. So I agree with you, and I recommend people, watch all the different Kurt Cobain documentaries. Heather says, "Most definitely guilter." Carrie said, "Yep, that glove did fit." Carrie said, "I think the OJ case is when I started getting interested in true crime cases." Well, it's one of those. Does everybody remember where you were when the white Bronco chase happened? I was at a pool party. I was at a pool party at a friend's house for her birthday. And it was like, oh my God, this is going on right now. And it's like, oh my God, and I was an at-home mom at that time. My son was young. So I was watching that shit all day long. All of it. Um, I went out and bought, because internet was there at that time, but I don't even know if I had internet then. Not to sound like Barb. Um, so that's when we had all the stupid tabloids were the big thing, the Inquirer and stuff. And one of them, I believe it was the Inquirer, posted pictures of Nicole and Ron dead, and I had to go buy them. And I've saved them. I still have it today. Well, I don't have it. It's at my house that I'm separated from my husband, and so he's got it. It's still at the house over there. But yeah, I was obsessed. So that case, and then also Charles Manson. I really looked in, read. That's back when I read books too, Helter Skelter. Um, and I read another Vincent Bugliosi book called And the Sea Will Tell. And there was also like a movie made on that, and the sea will tell. That story fascinated me. What else from back then? Yeah, I did. I read the Jeffrey Dahmer stuff. I've read. You ever hear of Cinnamon Brown? Um, that's an Anne. um, Anne Rule book. What is it called? If You Really Loved Me, something like that. Cinnamon Brown, her father David Brown. And so he convinced his young daughter, I don't know how old Cinnamon was at the time, to kill his wife. If You Really Loved Me. I have the book. Do I, but see now, do I have the book or is it at my house that my husband lives in? I'm going to have to, if I remember, I'm going to look, see if I have that book. If you really, or maybe you guys will know and it'll already be on here when I scroll down. Yep. I watched the Slender Man stuff too. Yep. Watch those. Pamela says there was a post of an Amber Alert. A 15-month-old baby has been missing for 2 months. Mother just called police, so here we go again, Casey Anthony. Oh, that's sad. 2 months and Carolyn says, I Love You Now Die is about the girl telling him to get in the truck. I changed my mind about her after watching it. Check it out if you haven't. I have not. We need a list of documentaries that we'll watch together. And then we'll watch them together on YouTube, and then we'll see how long it's able to stay up. So it might be a one and done video because either people report me or they have bots, I think, that scroll around to find content, and then they remove it because they say I've taken somebody's content by having their show playing in the background, even though you're just hearing it, not watching it. Tanya said, yes, Fear the Hills is also our Facebook page, and Exonerate Adam Brazil is my group. Okay, so people make sure, look into both of those, Fear the Hills and Exonerate Adam Brazil, and read up on that case. Debbie, I remember watching the verdict live. Yeah, I was infuriated. Heather says, I was on my way out to dinner and was like, we're calling Domino's. Carrie says, yep, I was a live-in nanny in West Palm Beach. Tiffany says, we were at my aunt and uncle's for supper. Debbie says, I got to say what you see with Jax is what you get. She is a no bullshit person who will tell you like it is, not what you want to hear. Thank you, Debbie, from the person who's known me since 6th grade. I remember having sleepovers at Debbie's house. Jen says, Courtney is definitely guilty for knowing something about it in some capacity, and the fact that the cops treated it as a suicide just because he used drugs and he was famous is bullshit. Christy says, I was at a TGI Fridays in Austin when the verdict came in for OJ. I'll never forget the moment and the reaction of all of us there, disbelief. See, and to me it's not a racial thing. And I know they like to show in the OJ case where you've got all the black people are celebrating and white people are all upset. And I understand why black people were celebrating. I don't want to get into that all with you all either. We're not going to get into a big race discussion here. But I don't see OJ as a black man. Well, especially OJ. He, was totally trying to live, rich hoity-toity life. I look at your actions, not what your sex, what your religion, what your orientation, all of that. So it wasn't me being the white person trying to take down the black guy. OJ's guilty. Plain and simple. Best book ever, The Boston Strangler. I think I might have that too. Tiffany said, yeah, she was young. Debbie says, The People versus OJ Simpson was good, but John Travolta was creepy. I am creeped out by Scientologists. But I know people saying, that John Travolta is perfectly lovely and is a really nice guy. But Scientology is creepy AF. Sorry, any Scientologists out there. As I just said, I'm not going to judge people on this, that, or the other. Scientology is creepy. Jen says a movie needs to be made about Carrie Stainer. Who's Carrie Stainer? Or is that the truck thing that was just being discussed? Sonia says, what is going on? This is just a free-for-all discussion on whatever comes up. Thank you, Elizabeth. If you really loved me, Anne Rule, 14-year-old Cinnamon. Yeah. Read it if you haven't read it, or there's a movie that was made on it. I believe Cinnamon is free now, and her father, David Brown, had a heart attack. Christy says, yeah, like a book club. That would be awesome. A crime documentary watching club. Yeah, because I guess we don't even have to watch it together where I'd get flagged. We can do your assignment is watch this. So even if you've seen it before, watch it again. Take your notes of things that were interested in it, and then we'll have a discussion of whatever. Oh, see, and Kitty says, after 3 copyright strikes, they'll take down the YouTube channel. You can make them private first to see if it'll be striked before publishing it, and it won't hurt your channel. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know any of the rules on YouTube. But Kitty, I think, that would be a better way about it, is if you do it more like a book club. So I'll make the assignment, in gossip. It'll be, we're going to, you have a week, to watch this. And then this is the day we'll go live. And then now we're going to discuss that documentary. And then at the end of that video, we will already have it planned. What's the next one we're going to do? So you'll know by next week, watch this. Heather says they thought it was justice for the Rodney King beating. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. The Rodney King was guilty. He didn't deserve the beating he got, okay? But he was fleeing from police. I understand Black people are afraid of police. I mean, there's so many layers to it. But he was guilty and he was running. Cops shouldn't have beat the shit out of him. Carrie says Tom Cruise is creepier. Yeah. Christina says, have you watched Tammy's video on a boy named Travis who was found dead on train tracks and the police called it suicide? It sounded like people in the community know who killed him but don't want to come forward. I have not, Christina. I know the Travis case is one of the cases that WMP Justice Review is taking on. Or no, is that one that just Tammy's doing? But there's several cases. And it's like, other than Marnie, Melissa, Stephen, Brendan, Kent, I feel full up, and it's hard for me to really look into other things, plus all the other stuff I do, so then I feel bad. I'm like, I really should look into these other cases. And there are a couple where the 2 women are at Logan, where Marnie and Melissa are, that Justice Review is going to take on, and Tammy wants me to start visiting them as well. So I've said what I'll probably have to do for that, if that happens, is I'll have to get a hotel, and it'll have to be a 2-day thing, since it's a 2.5-hour drive for me one way. So I could go down and visit, Marnie and Melissa, stay in a hotel, and then visit the other two the next day and then drive home. But also, knock on wood, salt over my shoulder, light a candle. I don't know, with us having Marnie and Melissa having hearings next week or whatever's going to happen with both of those. If they get ordered new trials, they leave Logan and they get remanded back to county. So then they're up here closer to me, but you don't get visitations. So then I wouldn't have as many people in Logan to visit, and I wouldn't be able to visit with Marnie and Melissa while they're in county. I think it was when they were originally in county, when they would give visits, it would only be behind the glass. But now I think, because there's a lot of prisons, which this pisses me the fuck off too, is they're only doing video visits. So now the visit costs everybody money to do, and it's no skin to skin contact. Because when I visit Marnie and Melissa, you can hug them. People are holding their babies or, children in their lap, holding hands with their loved one across the table. So now they can't even be behind glass and seeing you right there that you're in the same room. It's you sitting here on your computer talking to them. But for Marnie and Melissa, it's, you think in terms of once you get to county, we're coming to the end here. Something's happening and I'm going to get released and go home. So it's like a necessary evil, I guess. Tiffany said, I so used to love Tom Cruise. Jen says, Yosemite Park killer Steven Stainer, who was kidnapped and escaped and helped another boy be rescued. I don't know that one. Heather, okay, now don't get carried away. I'm too old for homework. Okay. My tattoo guy. Okay. A friend of mine, that will be, she's actually like, I'm wearing my Brady shirt because I'm on the exec board, the Illinois State exec board for Brady. And so we have a braiding meeting tonight because our big boss, I'm like big boss, even though, I don't get paid to be on this exec board of Brady. This is more volunteer shit that I do. He's flying in from DC. So we have a meeting, this lunch with him. And so my friend Delphine is like, the top of our exec board. And so she had called me to find out if I was going to show up tonight and stuff. And then we got off talking about other things, and tattoos got brought up for whatever reason. And she has her eyebrows, the microblading. And so then she's like, does your tattoo guy do the microblading? And I'm like, I have no idea. So I messaged him and asked him, and his wife tattoos too. And so now he just responded saying, no, he doesn't, but somebody at the tattoo shop he works at does. So refer her to that. So I will let her know. Watch, I know my first name is Steven, to Steve Stevens story. I don't know if I've seen that or I've heard of that. I know my first name is Steven. I know that title. Christina would like to be assigned to watch 50 Shades of Grey. Oh my God. So I have this friend, Danielle, and so she's my movie bitch friend, so I don't see her ever except for when, we're going to go out and see a movie basically. And she made me go with her to see all the 50 Shades movies. I thought they were dumb. Sorry, people. I thought they were so cheesy and poorly acted, and it didn't turn me on or anything. And Jeff came with too he's like, I'll come. And it's like, okay, whatever. So Jeff was sitting there just like shaking his head at 50 Shades of Grey. Um, watch Good Night, Sugar Babe. I don't think I've heard of that one. Um, I now assign you to watch all 3 movies. You're welcome. Elizabeth, hey Jax, could you please say hi to my son? Hi, Alex. It's Jax again. Yep, I'm always on here talking on and on. Does anybody know if Kathleen dropped Daniel Holtzclaw case and why? Asks Janet. No, I don't know. I know Melissa said that Kathleen told her she's really super busy right now. But, I don't know anything other than that. And I don't know anything about the Holtzclaw case. I know I've seen that name. I know Kathleen had a case that was like in Texas and one that was in California. And one was the Amazon Echo heard something or whatever, right? But I've never looked into it. I don't know anything about it. Bye, Carrie. Yeah, we've been on for an hour and 45 minutes. Oh, and it's now almost 3 o'clock. So I probably won't be on here much later. I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom. When I get to the bottom of everybody's comments, then I will be ending this live. Christy says, that movie is so sad and gripping. I know my first name is Steven. I think that movie is a bit older. I watched it many years ago. I want to say I saw it. I know that name, but I don't recall anything about it. Kitty says, good night, sugar babe. We'll have you yelling at your TV too. Oh boy. Debbie says, my wee cat is limping, taking her to the vet's tomorrow. She seems fine otherwise, but a bit worried. Oh, yeah, I hope she's okay. Elizabeth says, Jax, thank you so much. You made Alex happy. Yay, smile, Alex. Oh, and that's the last comment, actually. So, all right, well, then I'm going to end this because I now have a whole bunch of messages and such that have come in here. And I really do need to do Melissa asked me for a special favor. So I have to look into that and do that for Melissa. Do I have anything planned for tomorrow? I don't know if I have anything planned for tomorrow, so I don't know if I'll pop on here or not. But we should have a thread in Gossip where we discuss our movie club. And let's pick what's the first documentary we want to do and what day and time is the best that would like work for everybody, since we've got people from all over the world that watch. And I know, see, again, there's 32 people that are here right now watching this video. And then when I do stuff on YouTube, at most we get 20. So I hope some of you, because I'm, mostly doing videos on YouTube now, I hope you'll come over to the YouTube channel and find it over there, because I'm really, here I am with I'm not a conspiracy theorist again, but there's funky stuff with Facebook. And so I really don't want to keep stuff here, and it's easier for people to find stuff on YouTube. There's people who are leaving Facebook, you don't have to subscribe. Do you even have to be a member of Facebook? You don't even have to be or of YouTube. You don't even have to be a member of YouTube. But if you're not a subscriber, can you still see the comments? See, I don't know how any of that stuff works. But I believe the subscriber thing is only so you're notified, you're supposed to be notified of when I do a live video or there's a new video. But not everybody gets notified. So I don't know. But so you all are welcome to start a thread in Gossip on Movie Club. and, you know, start talking about what you think would be the best first one for us to cover and what day and time you think would work best for everyone. And I may not be able to do it every week, you know, same bat time, same bat channel, due to whatever's going on in my activist world. You know, that if I have a meeting or event or something that I have to do. Um, Steven Stainer movie. Okay, yeah. So Kitty's saying I don't think you can comment without an account. Okay. But I don't think it's that big a deal to have an account on YouTube. I don't think it's any more intrusive than, you know, signing up for Facebook. I don't know. I understand people's, you know, not wanting to join so many different things. I get it. But I guess YouTube is the best place to have videos. But we're going to continue here in gossip, you know, that we'll do these things where when drama happens, I'll be here where we can right the wrongs of, you know, whatever people are throwing out there. Hello, Rebecca, and now I'm leaving. We've been on for an hour and 50 minutes now. So sorry that you just got on as we're coming to an end. So long, farewell, Elvidas, and good night. Elizabeth says YouTube is the least invasive sign up I've done. Okay. All right. I see over here it says Rebecca replied again. No, I know. I'm so sorry, Rebecca. It was a spur of the moment. Go and I have a window in between some meetings, and I'll pop on here since people are again talking shit about me. So all right. I'm really leaving now. Sorry, Rebecca. This stays up. I know it's hard for people to find. It's either you have to be going through your Facebook app and not the browser, or vice versa. It's something like that. I don't know. That makes it easier to find the videos. Because, like, I'm on my laptop right now, and when I have the MAM gossip page open, so like browser internet thing, so it has right here about discussion, announcements, members, videos. And then you click on videos, or see, you could also bookmark this. So you could bookmark that, and that's where all the videos are in MAM Gossip. Lots and lots of videos in there. So yeah, you can go through. Oh my gosh. Yeah. God, I don't shut up, do I? Look at all these videos. So yeah. So use that link, you know, so it's facebook.com/groups/MAM gossip/videos. So, all right. I'm really, really out. Thank you, everybody. As I ended yesterday, that then I had people message me afterwards because I said this. So I will put it out there this time too. If you have a question for me, but you're not comfortable putting it out here publicly, since there are so many spies and such, and then people will come at you and you're not somebody that wants Chad then messaging you and calling you a cunt. Sorry, I shouldn't swear right now because I know you said your son was on here. Sorry. I'm a horrible person. Feel you can message me privately, or you can email me. You can find me on email. There's justicewithjax@gmail.com. That's an easy one for you. Or there's also official Stephen Avery project at gmail.com. You can find me at either of those. if you don't want a Facebook message and you would rather email me something. So, all right, really gone this time. Really.